Welcome to part 3 of our 3-part series on joy. Now, in part 1, we talked about the fact that joy is something we should be fighting for. Part 2, we talked about the things that are stealing our joy, which were other people's problems, unmet expectations, and ourselves. Now, before I get into part 3, which is how we fight, I want to be very clear about something. I've heard a couple of comments since we started this series directed at me in a joking manner about joy, and I want to be clear that I'm not an expert in this. I'm not walking around joy-filled all day, and those of you that spend any amount of time with me know that to be a fact. I am fighting this just as much as you guys are, and everybody's fight is different, and sometimes we lose that fight, and sometimes we lose that fight a lot, and we aren't experiencing joy, and other things in our life are taking over. And if you know me pretty well, it's been a fairly tough personal year for me, and it's been a tough fight, and sometimes I win and sometimes I lose, and I want to be very clear that we're all doing that. So moving on, what do we do when we want to fight? And I want to talk about two things that I think are important, and they go hand in hand. The first one being, you need to make a list of the things that bring you joy. What are the things that make you laugh? What are the things that, well up inside you, that feeling that you get that is just, it makes you smile and it makes you excited? What are those things in your life? For me, it's going out to dinner with friends. It's laughing. It's being with people that are going to pour into me just as much as I pour into them. That's one of the things that I really enjoy. The other thing is you need to make a list of the things that don't bring you joy, or things that steal your joy. What are the things in your life that when you are doing them or when you're around them, they are making you unhappy or stealing your joy? You need to do more of the first thing and less of the second thing to the extent possible. So if your child steals your joy, it's very difficult to get away from them. But that's where unmet expectations come in. If you have people in your life that are stealing your joy on a consistent basis, you need to get to a point that you expect that to happen, and it'll be a little bit easier to deal with. If you are in a situation where you are stealing your joy, you're stealing your own joy because you're wallowing in self-pity or whatever it is, it's usually because of things in your life. We'll call it junk. We all have our own junk. I have junk. I have a lot of junk, actually. You have junk. We all have it, and you need to talk about your junk with someone, a professional. A lot of companies have employee assistance programs where you can go talk to a certified, trained professional that wants to listen to your stuff and help you work through it. And you will find that you are going to experience more joy when you are stealing less of it because you're not dealing with your junk. And then the last thing would be, if there are people in your life that constantly want to steal your joy, you need to avoid them, and you just need to not be around them, or you need to sit down and talk to them and say, look, I know you're going through some stuff, and I'm going to do the best I can to help you, but when you pile things on me consistently, it steals my joy, and it's very difficult. And so either that or just don't be around them. I want you guys to find things in your life that bring you joy, and I want you to make it a priority to do that more. And right now, the bell is ringing in the ring, and we all need to get to fighting. So until next time, this is Kevin Hicks saying, fight for your joy, and I'm going to fight for mine. We'll see you later.